Uh, Good morning, sir. Are you Brody Jack Johnson?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Johnson, I'm Judge Middleton. We've met. Also here with me is Keith Stickley, the Chief Public Defender. You were charged in file 232142FY with felony domestic violence. The matter was reduced to a misdemeanor, domestic violence, second offense. You were placed on probation. Daniel Frazine was your probation officer. He filed a probation violation petition alleging that you violated your probation by failing to test, failing to report, drinking alcohol, and failing to make any payments. So he set an arraignment on that probation violation and you didn't show up. His recommendation is that I revoke your probation and give you 60 days of jail. You've also got several $100s of unpaid fines and costs in some other cases. You failed to appear. Let's see when that was. I think I even tried to call you. Yeah, on May 29th. How did you come to get arrested last night?
I believe I was headed to Myers to return some pop bottles, and I was on my way back to return pop bottles, and you guys pulled me over. I wasn't driving a vehicle. I was driving a bicycle.
All right, so they pulled you over, they stopped you and found out there was an open warrant?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to get this case back on track. I'm going to set a probation violation hearing. I'm going to appoint an attorney. Original attorney was Rhonda Ives. I believe your bond is denied. This is a felony reduced to a misdemeanor, domestic violence. You didn't do anything you were supposed to do as part of your probation. And I had held 60 days over your head. Then you didn't show up for your arraignment and just waited around to get arrested. So we'll set a hearing probably next week with your lawyer, and then you can decide whether you wish to admit to the violation or have a hearing on it. But I'll show you plead not guilty to the PV and set a hearing.
No, I wish to plead guilty.
You're good to go.
And I wish to be heard as guilty. I don't want probation. I just want jail time.
Yeah, you want to just get it over with? Is that what you're saying?
Just get it over with.
All right, well, let's talk about that. You have a right to have a hearing regarding your probation violation, where it would have to be established beyond a preponderance that you violated your probation. You would be entitled to have a lawyer on that. I'd appoint your original lawyer or another lawyer, and the Chief Public Defender is here now. So you have a right to have a hearing on it. You also have a right to just admit the violation. So are you willing to admit that you violated your probation by failing to report, failing to test, and using alcohol or drugs?
Yes.
Are you basically homeless?
No, I've been staying with the lady who it was assumed I assaulted.
Yes.
I was staying with her, and I just had no way to report and no way to, so I was just saying it was easier in your guys' hands. Just give me some jail time,
All right. Well, you have a right to enter a plea if you want to. This will save some time. What are you going to do when you get out?
I'm gonna probably assume that assume my anger management and
well, you won't be on probation, so you won't have to do any of that stuff. You could use it but I tried to get you to do that. Look for the original judgment. All right. I gave you 90 days, credit 30. So now I'm going to give you 90 days, credit 31, leaving 59 days to do, and probation is revoked. Maybe we were just setting you up to fail right off the bat, but I thought I'd give you a chance to try some of this other stuff, and you wanted to get out of jail, but you didn't really do anything. You're also supposed to continue with your treatment at Pivotal, and I don't think you've been doing that.
No, I tried a little bit, but I don't think that's working.
All right, Mr. Johnson, I'm off your back. You owe me 59 days. Your probation is revoked. And there's not much else to say about it. Well, he'll be a trustee. He'll be out about 45 days. I wouldn't want to spend the best part of the summer in jail. Yeah, he was living with the complaining witness. They didn't charge you with driving suspended. Did you finally get a license?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, very good. Well, that's a plus. The case in Ann Arbor with Judge Simpson, they got all the national attention because he was driving the car. And then the judge ordered him to go to jail. And I don't know whether he did or not. Then the next day or two, they reported it was a mistake, that he wasn't suspended, and it was a quote clerical error. Then the next day they said, well, he wasn't suspended, but he doesn't have a license. So then this morning, his lawyer gave out to the news agencies. The man went to the Secretary of State in Washtenaw County and got his learner's permit. So he has a permit now. Anyway, he wasn't suspended. He just didn't have a license, I guess. Either way, he wasn't supposed to be driving. Judge Simpson wasn't very happy about it. There used to be a room in the old jail with a one-way mirror in it. We did lineups in there. We would go to the jail if we needed a corporeal lineup, and the guys would take us through the catwalk. Like, let's say they were looking for a guy that was 5'10", 180 pounds. We'd go through and say, we'll take that guy and that guy and that guy. And then we'd buy them a can of pop for being in the lineup. And they would stand there and the people would look through the window, and we'd have to turn like a quarter turn to the right, quarter turn to the right. And then if we had a little form. I bet they haven't done an in-person lineup out there in 10 years.
I've never heard of one here.
We used to do them all the time. We had some Polish gypsies that came here and stole a bunch of jewelry from an elderly woman. And we had a lineup in the probate courtroom and got some ladies from here at the courthouse to sit in the chairs. The ladies had babushka things, so everybody, anyway, the old lady, I think she picked them out. They bonded out on $40,000 cash. Some little old man who was a lawyer from Hamtramck came here with $40,000 like cash in a paper sack and bonded them out, and they promptly absconded, and they got arrested in California and deported. So St. Joe County kept the $40,000. But yeah, we used to, of course, now they would do photo lineups and just pick booking photos out. Back then they were in black and white. But yeah, I bet several times a year we would go to the jail and do a lineup.
We're just talking.
Howard Bush was in Kalamazoo once, and when he was a young lawyer, I don't remember what he was doing. They asked him if he would stand in the lineup, and they picked him out. So I still tease him about that from time to time. Oh, he was, probably before I even started practicing.
That's funny.
So I don't know if they have a room to do a lineup out there.
If I saw Shayna in the lineup, I'd always pick her just out of principle.
She has a guilty look about her.
That's right. Good
Maybe
person.
Howard just looked culpable.
That's funny. That's really funny.
I don't think he'd mind me telling that story.
Well, he's a member of the bar. He's guilty for something.
Guilty by association. And in the old days, they could smoke in the cells. Yes, they could smoke. And it was just like a purple haze back there. Plus, it was dangerous to have fire. When Matt Laurie took over as sheriff, he banned smoking in the jail about 1990.
What unfolded in this courtroom was a portrait of a man caught in a cycle he couldn't or wouldn't break. Brody Jack Johnson originally faced a felony domestic violence charge, a serious accusation that was later reduced to a misdemeanor second offense. Given that reduction, the court extended him probation, a second chance to get his life in order. But Johnson didn't hold up his end of the deal. He failed to report to his probation officer. He failed to test. He drank alcohol in violation of his conditions. He made no payments toward his outstanding fines. And when the court set an arraignment on his probation violation, he didn't show up. Not because he couldn't find the courthouse, but because he simply waited until police stopped him on a bicycle one night, discovered the open warrant, and brought him in. What followed was a candid, almost resigned conversation between a judge who had clearly tried to give this man every opportunity and a defendant who acknowledged, without excuses, that he had failed at every turn. Johnson didn't fight it. He waived the hearing, admitted to the violations, and asked for it to be over. The judge revoked his probation and sentenced him to 59 remaining days in jail, noting bluntly, "Maybe we were just set up to fail right off the bat." That line says everything. Sometimes the system tries. Sometimes people aren't ready. And the court's job isn't to force someone into rehabilitation. It's to hold them accountable when they walk away from it. Accountability, ultimately, is what this was. If you found this case as eye-opening as we did, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more real courtroom breakdowns. Because justice never gets old.